Hey, I'm Nick with onlinebusiness.tv, where you can follow my journey in creating online businesses, all of my failures and missteps, and all of those things. But one thing I have learned with online business is how to create a website. And that's what this video is all about: how to start a website from scratch, or at least almost from scratch. I already have the domain name. And whether you're going to create a blog, that you're just going to personally write on, no interest in monetizing it, or maybe you're creating a website for your business, or if you're creating a niche website, we're going to hopefully create some passive income by monetizing it with ads and affiliate income and things like that. That's what this site is. I bought what is referred to as an aged domain. It's a domain that was in use. It's a website name, URL that was in use for a number of years, had some authority, has some links coming to it, but then wasn't used anymore. And then I bought it as an aged domain from Otis.global, with the hope of creating a new niche website that I'm going to make a public case study. But in this video, we're just going to watch me create this website from scratch on WordPress using the Divi theme, which is my favorite theme. And then I'll create a separate video with all of the plugins that we're going to use. So let's jump right in here, share my screen. And this is Flywheel. This is my recommended host. I like to use Flywheel. It is not the cheapest option out there. I mean, by far, something like Bluehost would be a lot cheaper. HostGator, those are some really popular entry-level hosts, and you could use that if you would like. You kind of get what you pay for, though. Okay, so Flywheel is managed WordPress hosting. It only hosts WordPress sites. Bluehost, HostGator, tons of other ones like that. They are cheaper, especially that first year, but the support is not the same. The reliability, the speed, I mean, there's just a lot that's not the same. If you're starting new, though, and you want to get in as cheap as possible, then you probably want to try something like Bluehost. But I'm going to do Flywheel. That's what I like to use. There's other ones that I like to use as well, but this is one that I do prefer. It's $13 a month. See, Bluehost, sometimes you can get $4 or $5 a month to start. I'm going to use this tiny theme here. Choose a username. Let's see. How about we don't let you know what that part is? What do you think? Okay, there we go. Now it's going to ask for first name and last name and phone number. Not going to show you that either. Okay, I put in payment there while you couldn't see, while I paused there and finished that up. I did choose the monthly payment plan with Flywheel. Just like with most hosts, you can save money if you pay for a year up front, but I didn't want to do that, so I chose the monthly plan. And then you land here. So now I'm going to click Create Site. Who's this for? Me. I named it Rideshare, owned by me. Site name, I'm just going to call it Rideshare. And then temporary domain, ride-share.flywheelsites.com. And now I got to create my user account. Again, going to pause it. Okay, now that that's done and my password and username are set, and that's the password and username for WordPress. Because Flywheel is a managed WordPress hosting site, I'm kind of creating my WordPress username and password right here on Flywheel on the hosting before, and now it's going to go set up my WordPress site. So that's what this is right here. You're seeing those wheels spin. What they're doing is they're kind of spinning up and creating this new WordPress site for me using the domain, the temporary domain, and the username and password that I gave them. Okay, now the site is created, and here we are on the back end of Flywheel. One of the things I do love about Flywheel is that you can kind of have like this development domain. See this temporary domain right here, where I could go there right now and manage the site without having to point my actual domain, ride-share.com, to this. Now, when I go to do that, I am going to show you that, because when you buy a domain, we didn't do that in this video because I already own the domain. You have to point it to whatever your host is going to be. So with Flywheel, with any of them really, what you're looking for is the IP address right there. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come over to my registrar, which is joker.com. I don't exactly recommend joker.com. It's just I've used it for like 20 years and it was confusing and odd back then, but so much was confusing and odd back then in the internet, and I've just stuck with it because it has all my domains. If you're anything like me, you own way more domains than you use, and all of mine are here. I think name.com, GoDaddy, much more common, probably user-friendly as well. Although this is pretty good. Joker.com has come a long way from what it was before, but I'm going to create a new A record. So IP address, there's different records in your domain. We're not going to go through all that now, but I'm going to create a new A record, paste in that IP address from Flywheel. I'm going to click to also create the www because again, this is something that you probably don't hear people talk about a lot. You could have your website, google.com actually point to a different place than www.google.com. But it's 2021 and we shouldn't really even be saying www anymore. So here we go. Hit Put that in there, hit save, hit yes. Now what's going to happen is it's going to take a bit before that can take effect over here on Flywheel. Like I can come in, and what I need to do now is, because I've got the temporary domain, I need to add the regular domain that I just did. So ride-share.com, also add www, make it the primary, hit add. Now you don't have to do this. Like if I wanted, I could develop this whole site using that temporary domain that Flywheel created and then point the real domain to it later. That's useful if you're moving a site. If you don't want to wait, because there's a little bit, I usually, in my experience, I don't have to wait longer than maybe 15 minutes for the records to update. But sometimes, depending on your registrar, that could take a day before the domain that you used, like in my case, ride-share.com, points to Flywheel and everything runs correctly. Now, one thing I have experienced on Flywheel is if I do this like this really quick and I enable SSL right here, which you want to do, you want to have SSL on all your sites, sometimes that can mess things up. Like I enable SSL too fast before the registrar has made the connection. So I'm going to pause it again here, make sure this makes a connection, and then we'll jump right back into it. Okay, so that's set up. SSL is running. If I click, and you can see that here, it will take some time to actually fully implement though. In fact, if I go to WP-admin, which is where I'm going to log into the back end of WordPress and start updating my site, you'll see up the top here, see it says not secure. You might not be able to see that depending on how large the window is here. Let's see. Okay, now you can see that there. See where it says not secure? So it just hasn't quite fully taken effect yet, but it will. And actually, if I need to, if I'm like in a hurry and want to get this thing running fast, I'll come over to Flywheel here in the lower right corner, where you can't see it because of my camera, and hit get help and tell them about it, and they'll flip a couple switches and it'll be ready to go. So new site is up and running. One of the first things I like to do is go to settings, make sure I change the site title, tagline. Let's see, what's a good tagline? This site's going to be about really monetizing your car through different rideshare type things like Uber and Lyft, but even Turo, like renting your car out, things like that. Make money online with your ride. It's probably not what I'm going to leave it as, but got the email there. Pick my time zone and hit save. And then this is a big one. You go down to permalinks. See that there under settings? And you don't want this generic thing up top here where it has like a question mark P. That's not helpful for SEO and people finding your site. So I click post name so that it's always just .com / whatever the title of the post or the page is. So once you have those two picked, we can already go ahead and take a look and see what this site looks like on the front end using just the default WordPress theme. Pretty simple, right? But I want to use Divi. Divi is my favorite theme. So I'm going to come over to Appearance Themes. And these are some of the defaults. You can get a lot of free ones here, but I'm going to hit Add New and Upload because I already have this. Because I purchased the Divi theme, I have a zip file downloaded with it. So we're going to hit Choose File, Rideshare. There's Divi theme, and hit Install. So it's going to install that theme. And when that's done, we'll be able to customize it, which is probably going to take most of the rest of the video. Hit cancel and go back. I hit the button twice. You shouldn't do that. Okay. So, the theme finished installing. When I hit that button twice, it sort of half installed it and then tried to overinstall it again. So I just hit it one more time and reinstalled the whole thing from scratch. It's a good lesson, being a little patient after you hit the install button. I'm going to hit activate right here. So that'll activate this theme, make it run on the front end. So now you see Divi right here. Now, a lot of the rest of this video, we're just going to go through customizing Divi. If you were using a different theme, certainly the settings would be different, but the idea would be the same. You got to get a logo. You got to get some colors in place. Where do you put in social media if that's something you have? So I'm going to come down to Divi on the menu here. I'm going to start with theme options. Right away, I've got all these menus right here within Divi. And I'm going to start with the logo. So I'm going to hit upload, select files. I already have the logo ready, I believe. Let's hope. Go into ride share. Oh, I haven't unzipped it yet. Let's unzip that file first. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to use the one with the transparent background right there. So it's going to upload it. I like to, for SEO purposes, want to call it ride share. Put in the alt text, set as the logo. Now at the very bottom here is where you can hit save, but you don't have to do that till you're done. But if you're a little compulsive like me, you'll probably hit it every now and then. I also like to, so you can kind of, in Divi, you can set what your default color palette is. I use Canva to create my logos and graphics. That's what this is right here. You're looking right at my Canva file. Obviously, I can pick the color right here. Mouse over it, it'll show the hex code. Once I get a logo and a color that I like in Canva, usually it's going to have 1 or 2 colors. I'm not usually doing 3 or 4 or 5 colors in my logos. I'll go over to colors.co. This website is a great website to generate a color palette. So what I'll do is I'll come in here, put in the color I had from Canva. And in this case, I put in both. Actually, I put in all 3 of these, the orange, the black, and the white. And then you can kind of hit your space bar and it will give you other colors that would go with your theme. So I don't know why that's not locked. Like you can lock these. That way when you hit the space bar, they don't change. These other ones change. But I like, this is the color palette I already came up with before I recorded the video. So what I'll do is I'll come from here and put these colors into my default color palette in Divi. So in this first one, I can hit copy. It'll copy that hex code. I come back here and then paste it right there. Right, and then come back. I already know the next one's black, and I already know the black is 6 zeros, and the next one's white, and I already know that is 6 Fs. If you've done this before, you know those kinds of things. And then I'm going to grab this gray. So I'm going to hit copy for that. Come back, put that here. And then finally, this other color, which could be used as like a standout for buttons or calls to action or something like that, because it's quite different, right, from the rest of the scheme there. It was interesting the different colors that it gave me in the selection tool. I thought I didn't like any of them hardly until I got to that blue. So for now, I probably will have social media for the site, but for now I'm just going to turn all these off. If you have them ready, you turn that on and then you paste, the full URL right here. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come down, hit save, go back to the top because that's basically the general settings. Under navigation, I'm not really going to change anything here. Yeah, in categories, I don't really change any of that. I don't change anything in the builder. I do change things in the layout. If this is your business site or your personal blog, you're just blogging whatever, you might leave some of this on. For a niche website designed to generate passive income, where if you write a post now, you want somebody searching and finding it 4 years from now and still, finding it and using it and thinking it's helpful. So for that reason, I actually don't list on pages or posts the author, the date. I don't really do categories, and I don't even like to turn on comments. So I turn all that off. Again, this would be different if it was maybe a business site or a personal blog where you wanted the date or the category or your author name in there. So I don't want those things, so I turn those off. Even general, I'll come in general and turn them off in here as well. I don't do anything under ads. I don't do anything under SEO. Integration, I do. I'm not going to do it right now, but you want to install Google Analytics to track, traffic on your site, and that would go right here. Go into Google Analytics, get that, put that right here. We can actually do that here in a separate video if you want to see what that looks like. I do come to updates, and over in updates, I put in my username and my API key. So I got to grab that. This is what allows me to have updates with the Divi theme and all that because I bought a license, that allows me to have all that. So I pasted those in from the elegantthemes.com website. That's where you get Divi. Okay, so those are all the theme options. I usually like to come in and just at some point, once I've installed it, take a look at what it looks like so far. Pretty plain, right? We got the logo up top. It's putting some default pages in here. It's showing me a post. Now we're going to go back and finish. The other big part of setting up Divi is under Theme Customizer. There's Theme Builder as well. I don't really use that much, but you have to go to Theme Customizer for all the other options. This is sort of a WordPress function here, like multiple themes would use this same kind of menus and all these different things you can change here. I start right at the top under general settings, site identity. Again, it's got the title and the tagline, so that's right. Site icon, this would be called like a favicon. Sometimes you may have seen that. So I'm going to hit select, and then I'm going to hit upload. I've already prepared a file for this. See there, rideshare favicon. And I don't want it to call it rideshare favicon. We'll call it rideshare. Hit select, and I don't have to crop it. I could have hit skip, but it worked. And then here, publish is the button you're looking for when it comes to saving things. Okay, done with that. So I'm going to hit back. And I know I'm going fast through a lot of these things. You'll probably want to pause, at different places. Maybe you already have as we've worked through this. Layout settings. I don't edit a lot here, but I do like to make that width somewhere around 1360. If you did a Google search for, what, I'm just going to type it in because I can't seem to slide it there. If you do a Google search for most common browser dimensions and widths, you'll find that most of them accommodate that. Theme accent color, here's where, and see the color picker is using the colors that I gave it. See my 5 colors from my palette, and I'm going to pick that orange because it's obviously my main color. Hit publish, and I'm going to go back. You can see, look, it made it for that little bullet there in the widget. Typography. So this is about the text on the page. I like bold headings that are all caps. Maybe that's not an in-style thing at some point. That's my favorite. And then I come down here. I don't usually change the default theme font. Probably should for different sites. But I'm going to come down here. Body link color. I'm going to go with my orange. So I just picked there. And again, it's right there in the default palette that I picked, which is why you want to set that up. Makes it nice and easy. Text color, I kind of like the dark gray. Heading color, I generally like to go with something like the orange. Again, now maybe not. You never know. It could be no, not the gray. Maybe the black. The blue seems kind of out of place, but you never know. I'm not a great designer, so maybe you won't take my recommendations there. So I finished that. Background, I don't change anything here. You'll see the background color appears like it's got like this blue, but I like to just have the white background, so I'm not changing anything there. Header and navigation. Header format, I just stick with the default, so I don't really change anything there. Primary menu bar, I do change things here. Now you can opt. We said that the width was 1360. You can opt to make the menu as wide as the screen. So see how when I uncheck it, that pops back into here. It's only as wide as the rest of the content. But if I hit make full width, then it goes the full width of the site. It just depends what you want to do there. I'm using a 32-inch screen behind here. So if I was looking at this and the menu is full width, the menu corners would be far out from the rest of the website. But I think you can really go either way there. Here's where you change the height and the size of the logo. I usually like to beef up the size of that logo. I don't like the menu being too large, right? Because it looks kind of weird. But something like here, but with a larger icon or larger logo, I like that. I do the same thing in the menu up top here that I do with headings. I like to go bold, all caps, active link color. So that means whatever page they're on, what color is that up in the menu up top there? Now, most of the time, you're not going to have 20 pages in this menu. You can't fit them. But for your main pages, like home or something like that, I like to pick it my main color. And if you're not on that page, it's just some other color. In this case, that dark there is fine. Background white. Drop down menu, line color. I almost never have a drop down menu, but just in case, I set it anyway. I'm going to hit publish on that. Scroll up again and go back. Secondary menu. I do the same thing, but again, this does not come into play for me. Just in case, I come in and make it my primary colors and bold and all caps, but I don't really use that. Fixed navigation, again, same thing. I don't really use a fixed navigation as much, but just in case I ever switch to it and forget, I go ahead and make those colors match. Header elements, this is where you can say show social icons, show the search, see that search right there. I will use that because it obviously would encourage people to search on the site. So I'll leave that published. Come back here. Now to the footer, this section down here. It's defaulting to show some kind of archive of posts. I'll get rid of that. But for now, I usually go with a background color that's either the main color, like the orange, which that would obviously be pretty bright, or something dark like this. In this case, I'm going to leave that dark like that. The text color will be white, and it already is. Now in this color, in this case, the link color could actually be orange because that orange over the top of the black will look pretty good. The header color shouldn't be blue. That's weird, right? So we're going to change that to white or orange. You can go either way. Let's see here. If I hit publish on that. Bullet color, it's going orange. I'm actually going to go with white. And I'm actually going to make the header white. So there we go. Body font style, header font style. I'm going to go with the old bold and all caps. Okay. Now you can see it's not changing there. That's some kind of a glitch. That always happens when I do this. Not sure why that is. If you have social icons, you're going to want to show them at the bottom. I don't have them yet, but I am going to want to show them there when they pop up. Footer menu. Again, I just go back to my defaults. The font style of the menu, I do the same thing. Bold. Publish that. And then this bottom bar. If I make the widget area that color orange, then the bottom bar I might make like black. If I don't make the widget area orange, then I like to do it here. So I'll come back, put that in there, hit publish on that. You'll see here that it's kind of like not working right, and that's because it's doing this transparent thing. I'm going to drag that up. I don't want that text color on the bottom there. I'm going to go with white. Same thing, bold, all caps. Social icon color, they're not showing yet, but I'm going to pick white. And then I'm going to edit the footer credits to be, so if you put an ampersand copy and semicolon, that does the copyright and ride share.com. And then I also like to put this right. All right. Publish, go back. So now I've gone through header and the footer, which is most of the look of the website. I like to pick the button style here. So, and again, I could go with the orange. That would make a lot of sense. It fits everything else. I think I'm going to go with the blue though, so it stands out. So I'm going to come over to my color palette, copy that. Text color, we're going to go white. Background color, we're going to go with the blue. I didn't even have to copy it. I forgot it was right here in my color palette, like I told you all to do with that. You see how it's not changing? Again, could just be a glitch here. It's going to happen, so I'm just going to paste it in. Look there, it changed it. Publish. I don't like borders on buttons. I don't mind a little bit of a radius, meaning like where it curves the edge of it. That's fine. I do like to go caps and bold again. Add button icon. This is like this little icon would show up when you mouse over the button. I don't like that, so I turn that off. And there we go. Hit publish. You can't see an example here, but later, if you add a button, you'll be able to see that. Now, when somebody mouses over it, what happens when the hover? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the font the same, white, but then I'm going to change it to that orange. But again, this, I don't know why it's defaulting to be a little bit transparent there. I don't want a border color, so, but if I did, it'd be the same as the button. Border radius. See, look, there's nothing. If I change it, what it would do is change it to that, but I don't really want that. So I'm going to leave it blank, meaning when you mouse over it, those things don't change. Hit publish on that. Back. Okay. Mobile styles, color schemes, menus, widgets. I don't really mess with any of those here. I edit my menus under the normal place on the back end. Same with widgets. Homepage settings. This is also something you can edit on the back end. I'll show you where. I'm going to pick a static page for my homepage because even though I just want to show posts as a niche site, I'm not really trying to create a custom homepage. I actually do create a little bit of a custom homepage in Divi and then use a Divi plugin, so to speak, or Divi feature. It's not a separate plugin to show all the posts. So I'm not going to change it here. I'll change it on the back end. If you had to update some CSS for some reason, you could do that here. But this area of WordPress, some of the things we're editing here can be updated on the back end. So for example, when it said, what do you want on the home page? If I go under settings, reading, right here is that same option. I want a static page. Now the problem is I don't have the page yet. So I'm going to go in and create that page right now. Pages, add new. Okay, now welcome to the block editor. The base WordPress Gutenberg block editor has gotten really good. I'm still using Divi. Again, if you just wanted your website to be really fast, not have a theme, you could just run with the basic WordPress Gutenberg editor and be in great shape. So I'm going to come up here and do home as the title. I'm just going to hit publish already, even though I haven't done anything with it yet. And I'm going to hit use the Divi builder. And this is one of my favorite things about Divi is that you can use their builder with their built-in themes. You don't have to be like a designer or anything like that. I would take the tour if you were starting from scratch. I'm not going to do that. And then I'm going to, instead of building from scratch, I don't have an existing page to clone. I'm going to browse layouts. Now, let's see. This site is about sharing your car, making money with your car or cars. And let's see if any of these have an autofill. Now, when I search, here's something to know. If I don't search, it's giving me the categories of the different themes here. So that's one pack, it's another pack, which is great. If I search, the downside is it gives me every little page from in every category, okay, which isn't bad. I mean, you can scroll through and kind of get a look, but like these first, what is this, 8? This is all one pack. And then it's shifting gears to this other one. It's another pack, right? So that's the part I don't love about the search. So sometimes I'll just let it go like this and I'll just scroll through. And I've done this too many times because I've used Divi on probably 8 sites by now. But let's see what I can find real quick. I paused it there as I was scrolling through. I didn't want you to have to sit as I pick through these, but I did want to show you something. You'll notice as I'm scrolling through here, all of a sudden, did you see just a moment ago, those weren't showing up and then they did? That will happen. As you scroll through, sometimes you'll get it, like it kind of catches up with loading. And then worst case, if it doesn't catch up, if you're scrolling through, I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom and it doesn't catch up. If you click into one of them and then back out, usually it will load them. So just a little tip there. Okay, I found what I'm going to do. I found it by searching car. There's this car dealer one, but I'm going to go with, there's a car detailing one, but I'm going to go with the car rental. So, car rental landing page, services page. What they do is they create different ones for different things. So I'm going to click into it, and then you can pick the different ones. If you click around, you can see what they look like. I'm obviously not a car rental website, but I think I'll still use, I think I might use, let's see. That's a decent about page. A lot of times I like the landing page for the home page more than anything else, but I'm gonna go with the home page in this case. Use this layout. What it'll do is it'll kind of import that. And the reason I love this is I'm not starting from scratch. So there's a lot that I still have to edit, but I'm not creating it, piece by piece in the Divi editor. I have something to start with, which is nice. Okay, there it is. So that template has loaded. That is a large header there. So I'm definitely going to change that. I like for people to start to see content, pretty quickly, not have to scroll before they see anything. So much of this I'm going to change and delete, but still, I love being able to start with something than having to start from scratch. So I'm going to hit save here in the lower right corner. You can't see that because where my video is, and come back on the front end and refresh and see what we get. Okay, now what's happened is it's still showing posts. So I've saved this page, but it is not yet assigning this to the home page. So if I go back to the dashboard, and again, you can do this in 2 different places, but I'm going to go to settings, reading, and then pick your home page displays, a static page, home, save. And I need to create a separate page that'll display the post. We'll do that. I'll do that. So now go back to the home page, hit refresh. There it is. So it's all loaded. It's in there. That's what people are seeing if they go there now. Obviously, I need to change a lot of it. I'm going to go on the back end real quick and get rid of that so you know how to do that. That's under Appearance, Widgets. Widgets are just little areas that you can put other types of content. I'm going to hit close on this welcome thing. I do love that WordPress is updated now to where you can edit widgets using the block editor, which is just really nice. But I don't want any of these. So I'm going to hit remove. I'm just going to keep clicking here to remove all of this. For now, I'm going to leave that blank. We'll decide later what I want in that area, but I don't want any of that. So remove all of those, hit update, refresh. Look at that. Still there at the bottom. Quarter area one, that's because it's here. So I did what was the sidebar. We're not showing the sidebar, so you couldn't see it. Come back here. You got to click around a little bit on the blocks to get the block, and then you click the little dots and you can hit remove. And there. Now that should be empty. Let's see. Okay, there it is. See, nothing at the bottom there. I'll put some things in there at some point, but for now I'm going to leave that blank. Okay, back on the back end, I am going to create another page. Look, hit add new. This is going to be for the post. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. I'm going to call it articles. Hit publish. I like to I go ahead and unless I think somebody's on the site, I'm editing this 3 years down the road and there's traffic all the time. I like to just hit publish and save it and then go in and build it. Use the Divi builder again. And in this case, I'm going to, sometimes I don't know why I have to click that button twice. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to choose the pre-made layout. I'm not going to duplicate the home page because I want some of the blog features built in. So I hit car, so I can come back to the same one. Let's see what let's see, car rental listings, landing page. Don't love that. Listings page and the landing page look very similar to me. How about you? The services page might work. So usually you can find a page that has a blog version on it. I think I'm going to go with this. I'm going to want a small header up top, so I'm going to go with this one. But we're not going to use a lot of what they have in here. Okay, there it is. I'm not going to spend too much time doing this. I'm going to hit save. But there's things that I would do, that I would get rid of. I'm just deleting some of the stuff right here. All this right here. That'll make that header smaller. I'll do separate videos to kind of show you how to do the Divi theme, but I'm tightening that up. And then all I have to do is, I'm not going to change the rest of this, but I am going to show you how I add the blog post. I'm going to create a regular row. It's going to be full width, and then it's going to use the blog feature. So, and then I like to widen this up so I can see this full editor. I want it to show, a ton of posts. So I'm going to do 30 posts, all categories, and you get to decide, does it show a little excerpt from the post? If you click here, you can even show, does it show the image? Yes. Author? No. Date? No. Categories? No. See, I don't like to do any of those. Pagination? Sure, that's fine. And then I go over to design, and I like instead of the full width layout, I like the grid layout. Now there's only one sample post. So, there it is right there with no image. But if I hit save, that'll set that up. And then I'm going to go back on the back end here under dashboard, because now I have my home page and I need to say under settings, reading, I need to say that articles is the page where you'll find the post. I don't know why I guess I didn't type it in all caps. So I'll hit quick edit here, change that to capital articles. So now I have the front page and I have the post page. And what I want to do now, if I go and refresh the home page, you still got this menu up here that it's just throwing anything I create in there plus some categories. I don't want that. So on the back end, I hit appearance, menus. And basically you can create different menus and then decide where to show them. So I'm going to create a new menu called main menu. I'm going to assign it as the primary menu. That's the language WordPress uses to mean that top one there. And then I'm going to add, so I'm going to hit create. That'll make the menu. And now I can come over here and hit view all to add pages. So home, articles. If I had an about page, it would go there. I don't yet, but I'll just add those two. hit save, and see at the bottom here, it didn't keep that primary. So let me hit that again and hit save. Okay, let's see what that looks like. All right, there you go. Home and articles right there at the top. Okay, so there you go. We just created a website from scratch using Flywheel hosting. I do recommend Flywheel hosting. I'm an affiliate for a lot of these things that I use, but I promise you, it's what I use. I would recommend it whether I was an affiliate or not. If you do want to use my link as a thank you for helping you with this video, you can go to onlinebusiness.tv/flywheel. I do really like their hosting. I like Divi. Again, same thing, onlinebusiness.tv/Divi. A lot of people that make niche websites, which is what this is going to be, you want it to be fast. And so most people will tell you don't use a theme, or if you do use a really lightweight theme that's really fast, well, that's not Divi. Now, what I do is I use Divi. I run it on the home page, which a lot of people aren't going to if it's a niche site, right? Because niche sites, people search for, best ride sharing thing or best ride share for this. Well, that'll take them to a post on my site. They'll skip the homepage. So the homepage, in my mind, can be a little slower than a post page because it's not going to impact it as much. But with other plugins that I use and hosting that I use, my sites are really fast anyway. So I like to use Divi and do all that. But there you go, from the beginning to the end, creating a website or a blog from scratch, whether it's a niche site or just a personal blog, or maybe it's your business website. You could use that process right there to create that for your business. If this has been helpful, I'd appreciate if you give this video a like, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my journey in online business, both the successes and a lot of the failures, which is probably more than the successes, go ahead and hit subscribe to see more videos.